Back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network as we are moments away from big block time here, 100 laps around the Oswego Speedway. Martin Scala, Robert Hill Jr., Zach Chapman with you back here on the ShaggyTV side of things. So crazy to think that, you know, you got a guy like Chad Lackett that says he's never seen the track that slick where he was forced to run the middle. That track at the end, like we saw from a couple of drivers on boards, that was like ice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it looked pretty slick.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Robbie, all right, so obviously, I'd like to get, I mean, Marty does it too, but you guys are lucky enough, you know, you get that real life experience. So, do we see the track kind of transition differently, depending on where we are in the season? Does that kind of matter, you know, as we age out through the year?
Yeah, absolutely, especially up here, and I know Marty probably deals with it on the U.S. side of things. A lot of it will depend on kind of what direction the sun's pointing onto the racetrack, the humidity level, how that's affecting the moisture that's in the dirt on the racetrack. There's a lot of different factors that come in. Even the direction of the wind can change how the racetrack progresses throughout an evening, and it's really interesting because on the asphalt side, it's kind of just about the amount of rubber that goes down on the track and what the heat is out there. But on dirt, there's so many different factors that come into play.
So we got 10 guys on the driver camera right now.
What we got, Shaggy?
I'm gonna try to bring it over. Yeah, see who. Scotty, he's got his camera turned the wrong way. Logan Wentz has his camera turned the wrong way. So those are the giveaways in the bottom right. I mean, Joe. And what Dino told us, okay, so we weren't live, but you obviously all saw the chat box. Joey kind of explained why he's belted in. Guys, look at that brake bounce around. What
he's getting
a setup.
Thrown around.
Yeah, like, does he have to pass a concussion test when he gets off that thing?
He's just lucky he didn't have a full motion rig when he went for a flip there. That might have been vomit inducing or something along those lines. That was wild earlier on.
I mean, it's crazy. So you see Joey shaking in his seat, and then you look up in the middle right, and you see Trevor. He's shaking his models. You know, that's the only thing shaking. He's gripping that wheel so hard, he's gripping the monitor.
He's working it.
Brandon Dittmer, cool as a cucumber up there in that top left. He's just hanging out on his own. He's seeing how much
he's taking a nap.
He's got.
What did you just say?
Yeah, he probably didn't want me to tell you that, you know, but he does have an OnlyFans out there, so you have to look for him.
Go subscribe.
Selling feet pics or something on it. Oh, jeez. What are we doing here?
I don't know what we're doing here. I know we got a little bit of time left, I guess, before we kick this thing off, I think. I doubt they'll let it go the full warm-up, but they do want to beat up the track a little bit, I think, guys.
I think in the 358s, they ended about 15 minutes in, pulled them to pit lane for the drivers' meeting. Probably going to do about the same, so assuming a minute or two left here in the warm-up session. And I mean, again, you look at the racetrack, they've put some rubber into the dirt. They've started to make it the way they want here. And, you know, one thing that Dino was mentioning yesterday, Shaggy, is the fact that in this 100-lap feature, unlike the 358 race, you're going to have to save fuel and tires here tonight. So going to be interesting to see the strategies that come into play. You might have guys even falling back early on just so they're not pushing as hard.
My apologies to everyone out there who heard that ding. It wasn't your Facebook. It was mine. I forgot to.
Oh, I thought that was mine.
Or no, it was probably both of ours because I think it was in that chat we're in. I think it was maybe Brandon. Did he give out his OnlyFans account? Is that what he was doing?
Could be.
Let's find somebody here. Who's on the racetrack? Let's right on board here with Blake Chapman. Let's see how bumpy this car is. Or bumpy, not the car. The track is right now. Wow, you can hear it.
Just watch the wheel movement as well, folks at home. He's sawing on that thing.
Oh, we got a visitor.
Hey, we got Dino.
Yep, gentlemen. So Jeff just said we'll advance right at 10 o'clock. So if you need to do a little bit of banter and stuff, please do.
Oh, we were just showing all you guys on your cameras there, and man, you should have seen Latisaur in that set.
I did. Oh my God.
Man.
You know, I don't know if I can say this on the broadcast, but if I get mad, I'd have to go to the bathroom every 10. I'd have to go to the bathroom every 10 minutes. Jesus Christ, my bladder will never hold that. Holy cow, I did watch that because I'm not doing any laps because I did 2 laps to make sure my wheel feels good. I'm beat tired after 75. The last thing I want to do is more practice laps. So I'm just...
You know, that's why big-time sim racers keep a bucket next to their chair.
I used to do that, Robert. I had done that. but the doctor took the water pill off me, so I don't have to take a water pill anymore.
Well,
there you go.
Is that TMI?
Dino, track looks, you know, a lot different than it did in that 358. You think we're going to maybe get a top side right away, or is it still a little too early?
I'll let you know about lap 3.
All right.
You know where I'm going to go. Well, I definitely think going night, it was the right thing to do because, as you saw, the top was very usable. I mean, I fell back to 19th after Ryland Banks got in the wall there in like lap 4. And I passed my whole way up to the front by going on the outside. And but you know, there was no dust for the broadcast. The lighting is fine. You can see the colors of the car. So I think it was definitely a good move. So, you know, that middle groove was starting to come in that 358 race. So I'm wondering if the middle will come in with the big blocks because you got more horsepower going down to the track. So the track's going to wear out a little faster. And really, we kind of got a little bit of a longer warm-up here, so it's going to be interesting to see how the track goes. Now, with that said, is the bottom going to wear out even more where it brings the top back in? Because I've seen that happen in long-distance races, where the bottom and the middle get so slow, and the top, you don't have to sling it up there, but you roll the top, and you can actually utilize that. And again, I'll let you know. So, because I just can't run the bottom here. I'm going to run the bottom for like 20 laps to conserve my fuel. So I know I can go the distance, and then I'm just going to do what Dean does.
Interesting. Jeff Barker, if he's already up top, there might be a little something to that high side here because we don't see that 513 dance up there a lot. That's where he is right now.
Maybe after 75 laps, he's feeling his oats.
Yeah, there we go.
You know, it's interesting, though. I mic'd up, and I don't know if they heard me, but I said, I wonder if Teddy York and Dylan Kinsey have a little bit of an advantage because they're fresh. But it could go the other way. We could be in a groove coming off 75 laps, and they're diving right in. So I don't know how it's going to affect them. But I think they're the only 2 guys that have made the 358 race, or didn't make the 358 race that are in the big block race. I believe.
Yeah, Dylan right now, I mean, obviously could get in here a little earlier than some of those guys, but P3 on the chart, so he's got to be feeling good.
Hey, Dino, while you're here, why don't you tell us Dylan's story from the other night?
Yes, so Dylan Kinsey, an interesting story. The reason why he had to come from the back all throughout the 358s was he qualified 358s in big blocks, and he had to run because he had to go serve put out a car fire. He had to go on a fire call, and so he missed the 358 heat. And if he wasn't in the 3rd heat in the big blocks, he probably wouldn't even made that. So, but that put him behind the 8 ball, and then. As you saw, he lost by 6/100ths of a second to Harold in that LCQ. But, you know, like Dylan, he's a class act. He thanked Harold twice. He mic'd up and everything. And, you know, but, hey, he's out there fighting fires and saving lives. And, you know, we got to hats off to him. I think the sim could take a little bit of a back seat. But that's the interesting story about Dylan Kinsey. You know, the guy that finished 2nd last year in both divisions, unfortunately couldn't make the 358s. But you know what? Hats off to him.
We may have to add a star onto the rule sheet there where if you save a guy or put out fires week of race, you're automatically guaranteed a feature spot. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of unique stories here. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. And then hopefully my goal is maybe another top 10, and then we'll come on up and talk to the top 3, and then we'll have a lot of people to thank afterwards.
Yes, we will, Dino. And I know you probably get uncomfortable, as do I. But, man, I tried to touch on it a little bit, and I want to do it one more time with you here. You and Jeff Barker, dude, phenomenal. The work you guys put in for this thing, you don't deserve enough credit, and either does Jeff. This is the smoothest one in years, and, man, hats off to you guys. You put on an excellent show here as we see Dylan Kinsey hit his teammate was turned sideways.
And I appreciate it, brother. We'll talk a little bit more of what Bob DeGood did and Bill Calder as well and Jack Kent. But we're going to go to the drivers' meeting, so I guess I better get ready and go racing, huh?
Yeah, you better, man.
Best of luck, and phenomenal job all week.
Take care, Marty. Thank you.
And you two, I'm going to leave the call to you guys the rest of the night. Unfortunately, I am being summoned now, so y'all enjoy the rest of the night. Enjoy the big block feature. Hopefully it's a dandy.
Well, hey, man.
It's going to be a heck of a good show, man. Thanks for everything this week.
Glad to be a part with you guys all week.
Yeah, love you, Marty. Thank you.
Later. See ya. Love you too.
I got an I love you back. I always
That's
put
cute.
people on the spot like that, okay? So that is, man, my golf buddy, it is so funny. I'm not even afraid to say this. He is my best friend. He married me and my wife. He took the class to become, like a preacher or whatever, so he could marry my wife and I. He will literally kiss me on the top of the head before he leaves my house. If I'm sitting here broadcasting, he'll be hanging out with my wife. He will just come out, peck me on the top of the head, and get out of here. I am one of those, man. I am as far from homophobic as you could possibly be, Rob. I love making people feel uncomfortable.
That's noted, man. That's noted.
But man, this is going to be a good one. Is there any guy? Well, obviously, okay. We both can't cheat here. You cannot take Chad Lackey, Robbie. All right, no one is allowed to take him right now. But is there another guy maybe you'd keep your eye on, just from what you've seen throughout the week?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm going to go back to row number 5. On the inside of that row, I'm going to go with Mike Brewer. I think that's somebody to keep an eye on. He was very, very good when it came to those qualifiers just a couple of days ago, and he's got a lot of racing ahead of him here in this 100-lap feature. Definitely cannot count him out, and I'm going to throw a little bit of a dark horse in there, and it's going to stay within the family with Chad Lackey. I'm going to go with his cousin Shane Billings rolling off in the 11th position just behind Mike Brewer.
I did not know there was a relation there. Thanks for that information.
Yeah. He's a very, very solid driver. Definitely keep an eye on him. And, another Canadian Matt Barber, Mr. Excitement. You got to count those guys in.
Yeah, and, I'm going to inflate your head a little more because I was going to add another Canadian, that 075. Yeah. Keep your eye on Giroux tonight. He's going to be the dark horse, I think. But hey, guess what, Robbie? Grid time here.
Let's do this thing.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Let's transport to the back here. I didn't have that number typed in time, but there we are to the back here. I'll round out inside of row 17, all by himself. We call him the gentleman in the 217 jacket.
Yeah, starting in row number 16 on the outside, driving the Super Dirt Car Series, DJ Sim Shop. Number 4, it's Scott Rayome into his inside, driving car number 67 out of Grinnell, Iowa, in the 618 Laser and Engraving 14M Graphics Sweet Tea Gang. Number 67, it's Ty Dickinson.
Row 15 to the top shelf in the 014, sponsored by Icon Sim Sports. The man out of Canada, GJ Boydell, to the inside the 9 of Benham Racing, Brian Lawson.
Starting on the outside of row number 14, he drives the Regency Home Inspection Garofalo's Imports Brewer and Brewer. Number 93 out of Syracuse, New York, it's Butters, Jason Butterfield. And to his inside, driving the School of Sim Racing, NARC ESRN, number 09 out of Camden, New York, it's Teddy York.
We may have to go quick here. I don't think they're going to extend this for us, but row 13 to the outside, Logan Wentz on the outside of row 13 to the inside, the 187 of Rick Main.
Row number 12 on the outside, it's Dylan Slitter, and to his inside, driving the number 23 out of Alexandria, Ontario, it's Joey Lattiser.
Row 11 to the outside, Alex Pomerleau in the 397 to the inside, the hot shoe in the 76, Ryland Banks.
On the outside of row number 10, driving the 639 out of Bernhards Bay, New York, it's Dylan Kinsey, and to his inside, one of the magic makers this week out of Brewerton, New York, driving the 513, it's Jeff Barker.
All right, well, you're going to get it on your screen here. I want to give you guys the call you deserve here. We're not going to rush this. Yeah, we're not going to rush this. We'll roll through it because, Robbie, let them hear a real voice. What's it sound like when we go green?
As we come off of turn number 4, the belts are strapped tight, the wheels are pulled hard. Here we go, green flag racing in the big blocks. Chad Lackey off at turn number 2, gonna lead us down the backstretch for the first time. Here comes Trevor Zebru up to the high side. Oh, Canada, the battle's on for the top spot. And here comes 007. He's like Bond, James Bond, but it's Sam Bachman up to second.
Now, you know, I've mentioned many times, Robbie, I did a 100-lapper for these guys, same cars a couple weeks ago. If you were going to run that top shelf like the 75 is the whole time, you were going to run out of fuel. So I'm guessing that is a move for the lead, and then maybe we go up here and settle down. But he is still ripping that high side as we get our first caution flag of the night.
Ooh.
Couldn't tell who that was there. Was it Jason Butterfield? Man, if so, that's a rough night for Butters.
Yeah, looks like it was Butters. He's going to pull a pit side here, Shaggy. Issues for him already. And I think it was just a lot of cars in a tight space and a big old stack up that led to this one.
Yeah, you can see the 639 lifts. Pomerleau gets into him. Logan Wentz tries to lift. And then Butters looks like he's going to make it, but stack up on the inside. And G.J. Boydell floats up, gets into the back end of him. And, man, just like that, you know, we were kind of spoiled there. The small blocks, they went out. But they gave us 26 laps here. These boys, they gave us 3 and decided they need a little break.
Yeah, these guys are tired. I mean, we saw some comments about arms being a little exhausted at the end of that 358 race. I won't fully describe what those guys said, but it was a real jelly feeling for those gentlemen as wow, Barney the flag, he's working that yellow flag right there. Caution flag most definitely out here. And, you know, Trevor Giroux worked the high side to take that race lead, Shaggy. You mentioned it, how he's not going to be able to save fuel up there. What these guys need to do right now is try to save under caution as much as you can. If you got to turn the car off, turn it off. You got to clutch. Do what you got to do to save fuel and keep your car in the best position to make it to the end. And now that Trevor has the race lead, he's going to be in control. He can pick the top side, pick the bottom, and make his car extra wide just to control this race and kind of make everyone else work a little bit harder to get up to the high side and burn that fuel.
Light should go off on the pace car, I believe, this time by... Yeah, okay, I thought it was going to make a liar out of me. Flipped them off late there. That was a little later than normal, but we're going to get ready and go back and play. Now, remember, until we hit that third caution, we're going to have double file restarts, so that's a big deal because look who is behind that 75, Robbie. You think maybe he gets a little bit of a team countdown? Dino can move himself up into the top 3 here?
Absolutely do think so. Dino was very strong in the 358, looking good already here in the big block as we're coming back to the green flag. Giroux and Bachman, they're going to find the loud pedal. We're back underway.
Yeah, good jump there from the 75, ripping that high side. I just worry so much about the fuel. I don't want to sound like the broken record here, Rob, but man, I'm one of those conservative guys. I'd rather make sure I have it at the beginning and then go after it, but it seems like right now, MTM, they've got different ideas. 3 teammates on the podium spots here, and they are burning it down. Battle for the lead.
Yeah, battle's on for the race lead there. Bachman on the inside, Giroux up on the high side. Again, like you said, burning a little bit of extra fuel to try to get up there and take that top spot. We see Barker and Lattiser falling back towards the rear there on your scoring tower, but we'll keep our eyes up front as Giroux working the high lane once again, getting that upper edge bite here on Bachman. Reynolds up to the 3rd spot. He has well cleared Chad Lackey, who's maybe gone into conservation mode at this point. He knows fuel is going to come into play, and he's playing pretty smart so far.
Well, and let's be honest, Robbie kind of played possum in that last one. Yeah, you saw a little bit of Ruffins race in there. And look at the Barber, man. He is trying to cut his way through Mr. Excitement. He's lost 2 spots, but he almost shoved it in the middle 3 wide there.
Yeah, I know Matt was really excited to get out here tonight. Luckily for him, and kind of unluckily at the same time, practice at Cornwall was canceled due to saturated grounds. So being able to get out here now in a very tight battle with Morano, and you know, Morano knows battles here tonight. He was up battling for the win in the 358s, now duking it out here with Barber and Brewer. Brewer, a guy I mentioned earlier on, is someone to watch, and I'm going to stand by that. He's looking pretty good, up in a position number 8 right now, chasing down Brody Plotz in the Urishi Media number 96 machine, as just about 3 wide there off of turn number 2 that time, coming to 10 laps in, 90 laps to go, so 10% down.
Yeah, and I just slapped the camera on him. I mean, Brandon Dibbery kind of snuck up on us in that small block. I'm not going to let him do it here in the big block. He's on the move. He's one of the guys working that outside, maybe using up some of his stuff, but I think he thinks track position's important. Look at that counter to the bottom. He's going to look under the sailpit, Blake Chapman.
What a drive by Dittmer right there. You mentioned he's using the high side, and we saw that in the heat races yesterday and on Tuesday night, where he's using every inch of this racetrack. Sometimes it bites him in the butt, but in this case, not so much, as we're still 3 wide. Christopherson, Barber, and Brewer all battling it out here. Here comes Barber leaning on Christopherson down on the bottom. It's getting mighty tight here towards the tail end of the top 10, but what a showing here so far. And you know, I gotta mention it, Shane Billings has worked his way into the top 5. Billings started outside the top 10, so by far one of the biggest movers into those positive positions right now.
Yeah, so you know your biggest movers are from Canada, all 3 of them. We got Shane Billings up 6, Ryland Banks, the hot shoe. You know, he had a rough starting spot. He's up 7 spots, but looking on back 2 more. Dylan Slider in that 71, wasting no time, up 8 spots, and then we'll add 1 more. GJ Boydell up 9 spots. Oh, Canada's got it going on tonight.
Well, one thing I want to point out here to you, Shaggy, is look up ahead from Sam Bachman, the race leader. That is the tail end of the field. So lap traffic going to come into play here. Really, for the first time this week, we haven't seen consistent lap traffic just due to the timing of cautions and whatnot and field sizes throughout the heat races. But Bachman going to have a ton of work to do if he wants to get by some of these guys. And we have some strong cars towards the tail. That's Ricky Main back there, Grandy, Butters. These guys all contenders throughout this week, now bringing up the rear of the field, and they could be the difference makers when it comes to guys like Giroux and Reynolds towards the end of this one.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, we call him $100 grand for a reason. He is good, and if Joseph Grandy, you know, if he starts getting threatened with a lap car, he's going to have the speed of that leader real quick. They've clearly saved their stuff, but man, that's not what you need. You mentioned when you're the 007 to Sam Bachman, because those 2, I know they're teammates, but he's got 2 right off that deck lid. I mean, Trevor Giroux is there. Dino, I mean, he put all this together, Robbie. What would that mean to the 79 if he could bring the trophy home?
You know, Dino's part of putting together the real Super Dirt Week that happens here at the Oswego Speedway, and a lot of emotion goes into that event, making sure everything runs smoothly. But something like this, it's a big charitable event. There's a lot of good people involved in it. So for Dean Reynolds to have an opportunity to even compete for the podium like he's doing right now, you got to think that there's some emotion as they're wrecking ahead of the leaders. That's so sketchy right there for Bachman, man. Luckily, they were able to stay green, but yeah, there's a lot of emotion attached to this for Dino, as he's going to take a look to the insider's route for the battle of second place here.
Man, I don't know where to watch here. I want to watch that battle for second, but all of a sudden, Rick Main, I mean, we know how quick Pretty Ricky is in that 187. I mean, he is going to get on it. You can't afford to go a lap down here, Robbie. This is not asphalt racing. No lucky dogs. So if you go a lap down, you are in trouble. And, man, Rick, he is feeling the heat.
Well, and one thing to keep in mind here, you see Bachman, the one car I'm seeing now is Shane Billings. He's gotten by Chad Lackey. So the top 5 all together now, but Billings up 7 positions from the drop of the green flag, and he's got the top 3 right ahead of him here. That's Dean Reynolds right in front of this 74 machine of Billings. Billings going to take to the high side, see what he can do to get up there. And this lap traffic, as it continues to come into play, it's going to back Bachman up to these guys because he's going to be the first one to have to find that hole. And he's going to open the hole for the likes of Giroux, Reynolds, Billings, Lackey, and Plotz, who, by the way, Canadians now running in 4th, 5th, and 6th, but your top 3 all out of the US of A. Actually, no, they're not. Giroux from Canada.
Yeah, that was the one I tried to claim in the nationality draft last night, but you guys, you wouldn't let me have him, so, I mean, he's got to stay. I'll take him. So, if you're willing to give him up. But I'll tell you,
no, you can't have him.
Rick Main, what's going to, oh, Robbie, I know this is never the fun subject, but what's going through your head here? You're the 187. You know you're quick, but maybe you were too conservative. And now you've got 76 laps, and man, you're just trying to hang on. Oh,
man, see, oh no! You know, if you're Ricky Main and if you're Sam Bachman, that is the scariest moment ever. You don't want to be the guy that goes out and wrecks the race leader. Obviously, that was an error on Ricky's part, but for Bachman, he just had a heart attack driving that machine. As we see the battle for 3rd now, Billings up top, Reynolds on the bottom, and they're going by the gunslinger. Ricky Main's nearly contact with Lackey.
Yeah, Ricky's got to get on that loud pedal, man. I told you, no lucky dog, so he's got to go. We could get a caution at any time. Hopefully it's a little different fate than the last time, anytime I brought that up. Oh, and then you see the 74 Billings. He gets to the outside wall. I can't ever say that word again here. Poor Shane. I'm going to get some hate mail from him.
Yeah, CO Shaggy here at C2C there, Mr. Billings.
Oh, there it is!
Uh-oh. Oh, no! Right ahead of the leaders!
No!
Well, Chad just got a piece of that at the end. We got to watch this replay, Shaggy. That was quite the moment.
Yeah, I honestly think our leader got a piece of it as well here. Let's see. I don't know if it starts with Joseph Grandy, but I know he's involved in it. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, it looks like
he gets.
Yeah, big send from the 93 of Butters, and that just wasn't going to work. They both go around, and you had mentioned it earlier, Robbie. They were the pack right in front of the leaders, so this is how quick this happens. Oh
my God! Yeah, Sam gonna get the outside wall. That could do some damage to the steering on that machine. Might not be able to rotate the entry quite as well as he was doing earlier on. Oh, if I'm Sam, that was probably a slam the wheel moment.
Yeah, let's see. You know, this is how quick it happens. So Grandy kind of
the binders, man.
It looks like he's gonna stay up the racetrack, but then he floats down, and I think
he's okay.
I do too. Just because of, you know, maybe iRacing physics the way they are, able to keep that right front out of the wall, Robbie. I think that's the real important part. You can slap that tail end a little bit. They'll give you that, but man, you get that right front of the wall, he would have been in deep trouble.
Honestly, looking at it, I think what benefited Sam Bachman is iRacing's iteration of what is the cushion here. Bachman went up and the car lifted a little bit, so I think he actually only hit the body panel on the wall, not any really components of the suspension or the steering. So Sam should be okay to be able to continue on, but these guys are real happy the caution has come out and they're not going to have to deal with lap traffic until probably the halfway point now. But pace cars off. We're going to re-rack, restack. Bachman and Giroux, row number 1. Reynolds and Billings, row 2. Lackey and Plotz in row 3. Mr. Excitement, Matt Barber, alongside Moore, Chapman, and Morano. The rest of your top 10 as we work our way through turns number 3 and 4. Bachman opts for the inside. Giroux up on the high side. Barney, the flagman's got the green flag in hand, and we're back underway.
Man, right away, you see that 75 look to that top shelf trying to carry all that momentum, and Dino trying to answer underneath. But right now, FTM teammates in control. But for how long? Because you've talked about him a bunch here, Robbie. Shane Billings, here he comes.
Yeah, Shane's not necessarily one of the most known guys in this community. I think he's picking up steam a little bit. People are starting to notice him, and he's worked his way up to this battle for the 3rd position alongside Dean Reynolds, a veteran of this sport, a guy that has so much experience. And you know, these two have battled it out before in the Northeast iRacing League, as well as 802 and a couple other special events out there. So they know each other. They know some of the tendencies that both of them develop. So this could be a really interesting battle. And of course, Chad Lackey right there as well. Matt Barber, Mr. Excitement. He's another guy that races a lot with these guys as Billings gets the outside wall again on the exit of turn number 4. Got to come down a bit there, Shane, to avoid any extenuous contact or damage on that machine. But these guys looking real damn good here so far.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of looking damn good, Robbie, I mean, that 91 of Chad Lackey, I was watching him, and you mentioned when that 74 got in the wall, man, he let that gap open up real big. He realized, hey, we're on lap 31. I don't need to try to pounce. I'm going to let my buddy save this thing, and I'll get him back later. And I can't stress that enough because, Robbie, how many times on iRacing do you see that guy go for the move when the lane's closing, maybe trying to be too aggressive, and then you find yourself on pit road? So big-time moves like that by the 91, that's what brings you home checkered flags.
Yeah, and Chad's really shown his strength here so far this week. Obviously, we've seen the domination, but we've seen him racing smart. Yeah, he had the maybe ruled aggressive movement to get that win in the 358s, but he's put himself in a spot right now where he can conserve a little bit of fuel, save some tire. You see these guys, they're going balls to the wall ahead of him here. Billings has been in the wall. Reynolds has nearly pushed into the wall as well, as has Giroux. And out front, Bachman has not really let off whatsoever. So conservation not necessarily in the minds of the top 4, and that's what could come into play here for Chad Lackey as Dean Reynolds still battling it out with Shane Billings. We see a bobble by somebody there on the front straightaway.
Logan Wentz.
Yeah, Logan Wentz. He's able to gather it back up, but man, Logan came from pretty deep in the field to be up here, so good run by Logan.
Yeah, and right behind him, that 014 up 13 spots, Robbie. GJ Boydell on the move, man. He's one of those quiet killers. He's not going to do it aggressively. He's going to do it slow and steady, and that's why we haven't really talked about him. But good, oh, dude's up in the wall there in the back. Couldn't tell who that was that
Still can't
Justin
tell.
Sick. Justin Sick in the 2, that's who it was. He's able to keep it rolling, but man, he's rubbing the wall again here through 3 and 4.
Yeah, Sick got into the wall. Hopefully the car's still feeling healthy for him as he's able to cook up on the high side. This is quite the battle. That's the 9 machine up through the middle. He's had himself quite the day here so far. And, you know, a lot of these guys not afraid to throw it out there and really let it eat here so far. And speaking of letting it eat, Dean Reynolds cooking the high lane. Oh, no. Caution's out.
Yeah, we got a big one. Ted York involved, Rick Main involved, I believe Earl Jackson involved. Oh, man, I was rooting for Earl after...
Well, I'll confirm Earl was definitely involved. He has retired from this race, as has Butters. So 2 retirements here already. This is just going to be a lot of cars in a tight space here.
Yeah, so it looked like Lawson there, and I couldn't tell. I think York got into it. They float up. Maine gets involved. The 88 gets involved. Oh, man. Lots of cars.
Maine just kind of had a tank slapper, and that's what led to the major incident that took place here. But it was really close quarters racing amongst these guys towards the tail end of the field, and they were just trying to put on a show, and unfortunately, they put on too much of a show and brought out the caution flag.
No, and let's be honest. I think we can kind of blame Sam Bachman for that indirectly here, Robbie, because with how quick they are up front, they learned their lesson. You can't go a lap down. So if you're stuck there in the back, you know, those guys got to be aggressive now. They got their wake-up call, I think, after that first caution. So it's just a product of the beast here. Lots of cars, and, man, you don't want to be that guy going a lap down.
And, you know, a lot of people say it on the asphalt side, but I feel it's even steeper of a statement on dirt. The racing is so much harder in the back half of the field. From 15th on back, these guys race each other like it's the last lap every moment, but that's because you have to. Like you said, you can't fall a lap down, and unfortunately, if you do, you're pretty much screwed at that point. You're not going to get your lap back unless you're able to race up there. And again, you're going to put yourself in that situation where you're racing those guys that are trying to stay on the lead lap themselves.
Well, Robbie, that Steve King Foundation pace truck going to pull off here, or pace car, I guess we have tonight. No truck, or maybe it is the truck. I don't know, but all I know is I can smell that green flag
It's a
in the
hybrid.
air. It's ready to wave, and we're almost 2/5 of the way through here. Lap 39 about to be underway as we're ready to play at the Oswego Speedway.
Man, a little bit of a restart game there. Shane Billings tried to get that jump on the inside, but Bachman and Giroux stacked it up just ahead of him here, maybe working together to time this restart and clear themselves a little bit from the Canadian in that 74 machine. Dean Reynolds working the high side as we ride on board with the Billings Motorsports number 74. Now back to the 79.
I keep swapping it on you. There we go.
We got dice. We got dice. Wherever we end up, that's where we're going to ride. As we're back on board with the Billings number 74 of Shane Billings. He was running the high lane, now going to diamond it down to the inside. Yeah, he's cooking this properly right now, trying to get up here and get those guys back.
He really is, and what I like about that is, Robbie, you can hear him. You know, he's not gassing up the car, sliding those rear tires on entry. He's kind of letting it catch, and then he'll gather up that throttle and diamond it down the hill. I really like what he's doing. I got a feeling that 79 behind him, who's hanging that outside the whole way, he's got that right rear tire screaming a little more than the 74 does. And Billy still has that good pace.
One of the biggest parts of working your way around a circuit like this is you have to nail the entry. Set yourself up where you can let the rear end rotate around and just hammer down on that gas on exit. If you go into the corner and you hit that wah, 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 wah kind of moment on the throttle, you're going to lose time compared to those that are able to get that proper rotation. As we see Mr. Excitement, Matt Barber, getting a little kiss with the outside wall. That's going to bring him back to Chad Lackey, who's fallen to position number 6 now. They've got some hungry cars behind them, and one we have to keep our eyes on here. Anthony Morano, currently sitting in position number 7, one of the contenders in 358s. He's coming back to play here.
Yeah, no, another one, man. I'll tell you, I might as well move to Canada after this, because that 76 of Ryland Banks, he is on the move to up 10 spots. He is flirting with that top 10, and we are not even at the halfway point yet, Robbie.
Yeah, we're not at the halfway point, but some of these guys thinking that it's the final 10 here as the caution's out. You could kind of see it on the bottom of the monitor just a couple moments ago. Looks like another multi-car stack-up, but we'll see what happened here on the replay.
I'm seeing William Watson and Ted York, possibly. Let's see here. Go up to the aerial view. I'll speed this up a little bit. So you can see Justin Sick. He's that 2-car ahead who was just in the wall. Oh, no,
there it is.
Jack Hitt in the 217, the gentleman. So he got in the outside wall. There you see Justin Sick then involved. William Watson with nowhere to go, Robbie.
Yeah, Sick does a nice job getting through, and unfortunately that does collect Watson and Teddy York as well. So they're going to have a bit of damage, probably more on the Teddy York machine, because that was pretty much a head-on hit into the side of Watson, but a lot of that's going to depend on where that impact was on the 88 machine. I'm sure we're going to see them pit side here in just a moment. Jack Hitt has also taken a big hit in the standings, and he's gone pit side to use his fast repair at this point. You see Ricky Maines down there. I believe his night is over at this point after being involved in a couple of pretty strong incidents.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a little surprised. Jack Hitt's still sitting there. I wonder if he had the tow to get there. I would have thought
he did.
Oh, okay. So I think, Dino talked about it. I wonder if he towed quick enough that he'll be able to get back out there.
Well, that's one of the benefits of caution laps not counting is if you do have to take an extended visit to pit lane, you're not going to lose time on the scoreboard. You're just going to fall back to the rear of the field, work your way out there. And I believe Jack Hitt has resurfaced on the racetrack. And yes, he has. He still scored on the tail lead lap, so he is A-okay. Oh, man. As we're coming around looking for the green flag this time, Sam Bachman, Trevor Giroux, Shane Billings, the top 3. Green flags in hand, green flags in the air, and we're back underway here, approaching the halfway point in tonight's 100 lap Big Block Dance at Oswego.
Yeah, and rough start there for the 74 of Billings, or 17, excuse me. I sure see a 74 on the side of that. But 17 here on the score sheet tonight. But Dino, man, he was able to make that move at 1 and 2, but couldn't make it stick. And Robbie, he's going to have to figure something out because he is sandwiched in between two quick guys right now. And Mr. Excitement, he wants to get this thing moving.
Yeah, Matt Barber just kind of waiting in the wings here, just at the tail end of the top 5, slowly working his way forward. Started 8th in this feature, started 8th in the 358s as well. So he's up 3 spots from the drop of the green flag, looking for the opportunity. And what is likely to happen for Matt Barber is he's going to have Dean Reynolds and Shane Billings battling it out side by side ahead of him. And actually, as I say that, Anthony Morano decides he's going to dive to the inside and change it up. But what Matt Barber's waiting for is a tight battle ahead where he can just squeeze by. Those guys won't be paying attention to him or Morano as, oh, I believe that's Brody Plotz in the outside wall.
It is Brody Plotz in the outside wall in 1 and 2. And I'll tell you, Robbie, we could have used these quick caution flags earlier in the week. They have been on point tonight. This has been good. I expect that one to come out there, and it's nice that he didn't have to sit in the wall and wait for that to come out.
Yeah, you know, maybe a better view here at night for the race director, throwing those cautions a little bit quicker. Obviously using iRacing cautions. Everyone here has done a fantastic job. iRacing lacking a little bit earlier on this week. But yeah, watching Brody Plotz just behind Chad Lackey. He's just going to get a bit too high there and unfortunately gets stuck on the outside wall, pulls him up. He's going to have a visit with that right front on the outside of the racetrack, I believe just under the Cody McPherson sign. Another very outstanding Canadian driver himself.
Oh, look, he backed it off. And how, you know, you Canadians, man, you're so polite. If that was an American, you know exactly what he's doing. He's yanking that thing back down in front of traffic. But not Brody. I mean, that's as Canadian as you get right there. What? Oh, man, I love it.
See, Brody's a track photographer at the Brockville, Ontario Speedway, and being a photographer, you kind of want to stay in people's good books so they buy your pictures and stuff.
There you go.
Maybe that's why he opted to be kind, because some of these guys might be future clients out here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, you know, you excited about next week, Robbie? I know we just got the one to green, but you got a pretty big one coming up. You excited?
Yeah, well, first off, we kick off our season this Sunday at the Cornwall Motor Speedway with just a regular program, modified sportsman, novice, pro stocks and mini stocks. But next Sunday night, the World of Outlaws return for the first time in 11 years to the Cornwall Motor Speedway. They'll be joined by a 50-lap dash for the Fat Less Chip Stand Canadian National Series. Couldn't be more excited. Be sure to be there. Pre-sale tickets are available. Check out the Cornwall Motor Speedway Facebook page for more details. As we come off of turn number 4, Sam Bachman, Trevor Giroux, Shane Billings, the top 3. Green flags in the air. We're back underway.
Yeah, and you know, I know we still have 50 laps to go, okay? It seems like a real long time here, Robbie, but we watched them click them off in the small block race. All it takes is one long green flag run, and if you're back there a little too far, you're going to find yourself wishing you made your move earlier. So guys like Dean Reynolds, you know, Matt Barber, is it time to go? Because, man, the guys behind you are going to get aggressive here soon.
I absolutely think it's the time to go for sure. You know what your fuel situation is at this point. If you're not going to make it, then just hammer down. If you're not going to make it and don't have a chance to recover the fuel, then hammer down, go up there and kind of give a headache to those guys running up front. And if you can make it, then still go up there and make a headache. Let's go. It's time to ball out and get yourself up to the front. And, you know, if you're a guy like the young hot shoe there in Ryland Banks, just outside the top 10, you got to go as well, because you won't have enough opportunities to work your way up to the front if you continue to run back here around the top 10.
No, and he had just gotten into the inside wall there in 3 and 4, but Ryland Banks, man, he's clearly quick. He's had a lot of pace this week, but man, when you get all these cars on the racetrack, they're a lot dirtier than it was last night. And the boys are slipping and sliding here. You see that 390 of Mike Brewer. He tags the outside wall.
Yeah, you mentioned the difference in the track, and by the way, Joey Lattiser working his way up here. He's just outside the top 10 now. Great run so far by him, up to the 17th position. So a long way to go, but nice to see him working his way forward. But back to my point, you mentioned that the racetrack is different. These guys have had more time to practice, more time to put rubber into the racetrack. It's getting chaotic right there. Wow.
Man, did you see him swerve that thing right to avoid that stack up on the inside? The fact that Lattisaur did that so quick, man, oh man. Cat-like reflexes from Joey.
Man, that's years of experience racing in the pro stock
gotta
class.
do it
Those
again.
guys are wild. No, he gets the wall.
Yeah. Oh, and then he gets teleported into the oblivion. That can happen to you when you get in the outside wall. And man, the sad part about that, now Joey doesn't get the caution, Robbie. That's going to be the end of his night. Tough break.
The Alexandria, Ontario native becomes an astronaut, unfortunately. Joey Lattisaur has rocketed off to the moon. A quick visit to the International Space Station and now finds himself pit side. Unfortunate there for the Mr. Radiator, number 23. But let's jump back to this battle here. Shane Billings still side by side with Dean Reynolds. And here comes Anthony Morano up into the top 5. Caution flags out.
Oh, man, not that there's ever
And all
a good...
these positions are going to change because we're going to revert back to the previous lap.
Yeah, and man, not that there's ever a good time for a caution. But boy, oh boy, this was not one of them. And actually, Robbie, SDK is not helping me out on this one. I just have a yellow flag. Do you see who possibly that could be? Okay, never mind. I caught it. Ryland Banks is involved.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Ryland Banks in the 76. I'll try to get the
I think Brewer
aerial
gets
camera
that
here.
too. Watching Ryland Banks up on the high side there towards the center of your screen. He's going to get the outside wall just at the flag stand, and it hooks him. Mike Brewer going to get a pretty big piece of this one too. Yeah. Oh, man, that sucks for the 39 car.
Yeah, that's right on the right front tire too, and that's what we were worried about. Oh, and then look at the 88 trying to save himself. Gets squeezed by the 9. No choice but to get into the back of his teammate in the 39. But Brewer hangs on to it. What a wheel man.
Man, these guys had a wild ride here, and things are getting crazy at this point. We're just past the halfway point, about 42 to go when we go green, and the intensity is not going to slow at this point. It is just going to go to the moon, almost as high as Joey Lattisaur just did in that 23 machine, and we're in for some chaos here in these closing laps.
Yeah, you know, we do have some guys that maybe needed this caution, though, Robbie, because, you know, breaks it up. Most places, you know, we're doing 35 lap 40 features, so 40 lap features. So let's break this down. We basically have a feature left, and now guys like Greg Boydell right outside of the top 10 is, of course, my overlay decides to do its caution work here when I was going to give you the spots. So Logan Wentz, one of those guys, up 15 spots up to 11. He's going to be a guy definitely keep your eye on, Robbie. But we're maybe getting ready here for the final restart, we hope.
Yeah, we're hoping for this to be the final restart. I really doubt it will be. As we come off of turn number 4, Sam Bachman finds the loud pedal. We're back underway. And one thing different on this restart was Dean Reynolds restarted in that 3rd position. Now he's going to go up to the high side, opens the door to the inside for Billings, and that's going to bring a lot of guys up here with them as well. Morano, Barber, Brewer, Chapman, Dittmer, a lot of really strong cars up into the fight, and one that has really faded from the drop of the green flag, Chad Lackey, just about to fall outside the top 10 as Logan Wentz closing in on him. Let's ride on board with Lackey in the 91 machine.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, I think he's got some pace, but I mean, what are you supposed to do? You're going down the beltway here, 6 lanes of traffic in front of you, no room. I mean, Chad's just stuck. There's not really anywhere to put that 91. He's got a little bit of a lane here, but he can't get the throttle quick enough.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about being stuck down on the bottom. You don't have the opportunity to necessarily crank that throttle and open it up as much as you'd like to. As we're looking 3 wide back here, that is Brewer on the high side, Watson in the middle, and
Kelly Wheeler on the bottom.
Yeah, Wheeler on the bottom.
Yeah, man, he is wheeling that thing. Kelly down 2 spots from the start of the race, but one of those guys definitely, Rob, you know, going to pace himself, and I believe these last 40 laps we should see that.
Caution down. Oh, no! Wow!
Oh!
Oh, that's a big one, man. Billings involved hard. Brody Plott's going to be in it. Mike Brewer going to get a piece. What in the world happened? This would have started in the top 5.
Yeah, let's see. I imagine. Oh, looking
he's
like
going to
we're.
clip the outside wall.
Yeah, and it's looking like we're 3 wide. So
Yeah,
maybe he
Barber
runs
there
out
in
of
the
room.
middle. Chapman on the bottom.
Oh no, that's a solo.
Change is going to clip the outside wall.
Oh!
Oh no, Mr. Excitement involved. Oh, he sent Barber to the moon.
Oh no, Barber either hit the incident limit or got sent to the moon. And then look at the 88, the 39, the 518 comes in there. I mean, oh man, who was that one there? There's nowhere for him to go.
Oh man,
Is that Plots?
Yeah, that's Brody Plots that came into that one
Oh.
pretty late, the 96 machine. I'd say game over most likely for Plots. He's been involved in a couple incidents here and wouldn't have a fast repair left, but let's see from on board with Brody Plots.
Nowhere to go. I mean, there's nothing you could do there, Robbie. Absolutely nothing. It's not like he went in there barreling into that wreck. I mean, you know the deal. You got to give these things a little bit of throttle to rotate them and have them turn. And, man, I'll tell you, that's a tough break for Brody.
Point something out here. This has been a terrible couple of laps for Canada, man. We lost Joey Ladouceur, just lost Matt Barber, Brody Plott, Shane Billings. A lot of our guys just got involved in some really sketchy incidents over the last couple of laps, and just really, really unfortunate. Trevor Giroux still running up at the 2nd spot as the pace truck is off. We're getting set for the restart once again. Just under 40 laps to go. Sam Bachman still leads. Trevor Giroux 2nd, Dean Reynolds 3rd, Anthony Morano in 4th, and Blake Chapman now inside the top 5. And we got Moore and Boydell in the top 10 for the first time here tonight as the green flag's back out. We're back underway, and a good jump by both of those guys in the top 2 as Reynolds cooking up top.
Yeah, Reynolds cooking, but man, maybe somebody a little quicker on the bottom. Look at that 32, the Magic Ant-Man trying to shrink himself down, get on the bottom, the 32. Oh, side by side at the line. I think we got to give it to him here.
Yeah, I think we got to keep our eyes on Anthony Morano here in this closing 37 laps or so. He's been able to work his way up through the field, now has himself in a really solid 3rd position, but we're looking potentially 3 wide here in his 2nd as Blake. Wow, we're looking at caution. That's what we're looking at, is we got guys looking at each other, which is not always a good feeling.
No, and it looked like I kind of saw
Is that Wheeler?
Yeah, Kelly Wheeler involved, of course, because I mentioned him. I was gonna keep that quiet, but you can throw it out there. It's definitely, I'll take the blame for
Commentators
that one.
first.
Yep, but let's go back here. So SDK not going to help me too much on this because I believe it starts in front and then we'll translate back. It does. Okay. So I saw Boydell kind of get a little bit sideways. It looks like he gets some help here from the 513. Let's go above.
How is the 513 so sideways already, though? He must have had a hit or something.
Yeah, it looks like he's just sending it in a little early.
That's a deep rotation there.
Yeah, and
like,
I mean,
he's fully sideways. That's not going to end well no matter what. Either he gets Boydell or he gets the wall, but unfortunately for Boydell, it's going to be him and a heck of a lot of others behind them.
And then you can see, we'll stay on board here, stay up top on Kelly Wheeler. He thinks he's going to make it, but then I bet you he maybe gets a little helping hand here. Yep, from the 51, and all of a sudden, Kelly Wheeler, it looked like the seas parted for him there, Rob, and then all of a sudden, turned right around. That's tough for the one for the.
Is
11.
that Ricky Maines that got caught into the end of this one too? He just came off pit lane and immediately getting caught up in another. Okay, yeah, Rayom.
Yep, similar paint job, Scotty. He had one too many Michelobs there. I bet that's what we can blame for that one.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Just unfortunate for a lot of these guys.
Ricky
Boydell
is still out there though. You're right.
Yeah, he was at the tail of that. He didn't end up getting involved, but he was pretty close. Chad Lackey all the way back to 28th now, the last car on the lead lap, Shaggy. And what could have been a double down tonight for Chad Lackey is unfortunately gonna miss here in the big block feature right from the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, just one of those things where, I think he enjoyed maybe not being out in the lead early in the small block, kind of getting to run those guys down, but just let it get a little too far away from him this time. And the FTM boys proved maybe to be a little too much, but we're rolling through 3 and 4 here, getting set to 35 laps to go here. Green flag waves coming off of 4. We're back underway. Plenty of time to play here, Robbie. Can the Ant-Man, can the salesman there in the 20, Blake Chapman, we see him creeping up. Can these guys get into the mix?
It's all going to depend how quickly and if they can get by the 79 at Dean Reynolds. Reynolds is running very hard right now, and rightfully so. He's doing a great job holding on to that 3rd position, but it's creating a little bit of a buffer and a roadblock for some of the... Oh, no!
Logan Wentz!
Yeah, Wentz, he went too high.
Well, yeah, he did. I can't believe that's the first guy I think we've seen pull it down out of the fence like that. Now he loses 3, maybe 4 spots. But that could have been bad for the 118 of Logan Wentz. But I'll tell you what, we saw him make that hiccup after he got a little bit of contact from the 5. Oh, no! That bring him up and he makes a mistake. G.J. Waddell into the inside ball. Man!
And one guy I got to point out that just joined the top 10 once again, Dylan Kinsey in that 10th spot. He's on the move forward. We'll see if he has enough time to get up there and maybe have something to say to these guys. He hasn't been in the fight as of yet, but now putting himself in a pretty good position. Pomerleau just behind him as well.
Oh my gosh, we got to rewind. Watch this. He was in P2. The 75 astronaut. He ejected himself. Trevor Giroux did that all by himself in 1 and 2. And all of a sudden now, Robbie, P2's in the pits. Anthony Morano's sitting on the podium. What happened to Dino under that break? He's back to 5th. Oh, my gosh.
Man, there's some high-powered Americans somewhere that does not like these Canadians on the racetrack. Half of them have disappeared over the last handful of laps. And it's just absolute chaos, man.
Mike Brewer and Scott Rayome, FTM teammates, involved in this one, but the Philly Flyer, oh my gosh, what a...
Well, he flew.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. The nickname now is more perfect than ever. That's a great point. Oh, look at this. Brewer had a run, and it looked like Plotz maybe came down, but I think Plotz is entitled to that. I don't want to blame Brody for that. Now, it's a big slide. But if you're Brewer, you know, you maybe got to see that coming. I know that's his racing incident, I think, as we've seen all night here, Robbie.
Yeah, I mean, being the car ahead, it's kind of your corner. But when that's so tough to say because you don't really necessarily want to make that chop. But for Brody, he had the corner. He was there. He has the option if he wants to dive down and dive in that corner, he can do so. It's just unfortunate that there was a car also making a pretty deep dive at that same point.
No, yeah, and, you know, I mean, it is what it is. Let's be honest. Some of these guys will take advantage, Robbie, and turn on the mirror. But a lot of the guys, you know, like the dirt realism aspect, they don't turn on that mirror. So there is a solid chance Brody doesn't even know he's there. You know, he's just trying to do his own thing, get the car to rotate, and maybe experiment a little bit. He might have thought he had a little bit of a gap.
Well, see, for me, when I'm out here doing these races, I usually turn the mirror off. I like hearing the cars around me. If they're on the right, I know they're there. I kind of know where they are in comparison to my car based off of the level of the sounds coming from those vehicles as well. But like you said, some of these guys using the mirrors, wanting that extra little bit of a cheat to know where the competition is, and they're able to do so. As we're coming back to the green flag this time, Bachman's still leading. He has dominated this race, leading the majority of the laps here so far. I think only Chad Lackey has led, but yeah, letting some guys find their positions here. So we'll re-rack, restack Bachman, and now Morano in that second spot here, Shaggy, and it's going to be really interesting to see what he can do to maybe get up there and battle it out with Bachman for the top spot, and you can't count out Blake Chapman either.
No, and I don't want to keep riding your coattails here, Robbie, but, man, you've been hitting the nail on the head here all night. You've talked about the 18 of Logan Wentz a couple times. Well, look at him, man, up to 7 after that mistake from Trevor Giroux, and all of a sudden, you got to think that 18, man, he must have saved something. I mean, riding around in the back like that, able to cut his way through. we got to keep an eye out on that 18.
You know, there's been some adversity out on the racetrack, so some of these guys up in the top 10 have gained spots that way, but a lot of these drivers that we're seeing kind of pop to the surface now are veterans of the sport. They know what they need to do, especially in these big 100-lap races, to put themselves in a position at the end to get up there and battle it out. We got Barker, we got Kinsey, Moore, Wentz, Dittmer, a lot of guys that haven't really been in the picture so far, now putting themselves up there and into play, as I believe we're going to get one to green this time to allow the field to stack up once again. Actually, I'm not sure that we do.
Yeah, we do. I noticed the lights go off under the flag, man. That's always my cheat. Here, see, I'll go to the finish. Whenever we got that the yellow light on under the wheeling, you know, then we know where we're going. That's always, I stare at that thing now. That's the only thing iRacing gives us.
Well, and the one thing you folks at home may have noticed is the green flag is in the hand of Barney. The flagman was pointed straight up in the air. That's because the pace car had a bit of an extra gap on the field, worked his way around rather quickly. Barney did not grab the wrong flag. Don't worry, he's a well-trained individual. Maybe a future star flagger here for the Super Dirt Car Series in the future. But for now, we come around, green flag in the air. We're back underway. Sam Bachman leads us into turn number 1.
Dino, the first guy, look at him, put it up on that top shelf. Now, it kind of kills you on that corner entry, but he comes back with this big head of steam, maybe away from the 83.
Oh, no.
Oh, Dino in that outside wall.
Bit of contact there into the back end of Dino. I believe that was Logan Wentz that got into the left rear of that 79. They're going to both slide up the racetrack together once again. So things are getting very chaotic around this 5th position. Reynolds, Wentz, Moore, Barker, Kinsey, Boydell, everyone trying to work up there, see if they have an opportunity to battle for this race lead. And man, Denver's done a great job. He's now up into the 4th position. What a slider by Wentz. Wow.
Yeah, I guarantee you that was a case of, you know, we had talked about he had gotten into the back of Dino. Dino wants a good spot, he wants a good finish, but he knows a fast teammate when he's got one, and maybe say, go ahead, Logan, throw this slide job. I'm not going to do anything funky here. Let's get FTM all 3 spots on the podium, because right now, Robbie, they got the front 2, but Blake Chapman, man, he spoils the FTM party all the time. He loves telling us about that Galen's popcorn, and he might do it a little later than P3 because he's got some speed. He's reeling in Murano.
Well, you mentioned the party there, Shaggy. Every good party needs some snacks, and Blake Chapman, of course, does have the popcorn to bring into this one as we come to 25 to go. 75% of the way through this one. We are down to just over a heat race remaining for these guys as they work their way around this time. 25 to go. The scoring tower does update, indicating so as we look a little bit further back. There's the battle. Boydell working his way around, trying to get by Barker. We got the 9 machine back up into the fight as well. That's Lawson, Christofferson, and Pomerleau all up here as well. Oh, we're going to go around it. This is going to be big.
We haven't seen one car drive through that yet without being involved. Every single car who came through that got a piece of that one, Robbie. Oh, and I think the 55, he may be missing, nope, okay, left front tire was there. It was just hung over the wall.
Oh, man, that you could tell this was coming a while ago. These guys were beating and banging off of each other. They would send it into the corner and use each other as the lifting points, essentially. So I'm really not surprised to see the caution coming out around here. Just unfortunate that some of these other guys were involved in this. Oh, I think that was another case of hitting the inside wall.
Yeah, just got that left front in the inside wall, and you see, well, I said no one. Look at the Canadian, Alex Pomerleau. He drives the 397 through, but then, well, let's see. Does anyone get, everyone's gotten a piece of that. The barber, right? Oh, I don't know. Or it's a traffic jam on the inside.
I think he's going to at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Is that Brody Platts he gets into? I believe it is.
Yes, it is.
Wheeler's going to get involved, man. Everybody that existed beyond the top 5 was involved in this one.
Yeah, that was exciting. And then, you know, not that you want him to turn around, obviously, but then when Brian turns around here, we see our leader creep into the picture, and that's not what he wants to see there. This guy sitting sideways.
Lawson backs up right in front of Bachman as well, and that was a long incident. That took them about 2 laps just to sort themselves out afterwards because it was so big, but just unfortunate chaos there, and something to expect is we're getting to the closing laps of this one, and a name that's just now popped into the top 10, and I don't think we've talked about him once, Ty Dickinson up there. Now he's going to be scored 11th as Moore pops back into existence, but Dickinson working his way up.
Yeah, senior should shuffle down. He's in pit road, but you know how SDK can get sometime. But something interesting here, Robbie. All right, out of all the drivers in the top 10, only 2 started there. Sam Bachman and Dean Reynolds. Everybody else started outside the top 10 here. Is Robbie? Should be coming to 23 to go here. Do we finish this thing off?
Well, we're going to finish it off eventually. I don't think we're going to finish it off after this restart. We're definitely due for a couple more cautions, but one thing we're going to keep our eyes on is that green flag as it's waving. We're back underway, 23 laps to go. Bachman, Morano, Chapman, Dittmer, and Wentz, the top 5 as Wentz goes up to the high side. He's battling it out with Dean Reynolds as Reynolds working the inside, trying to work his way back in to that top 5 and put himself into a position to battle out for the podium. And looks like Morano might have a run here brewing for Sam Bachman.
Yeah, Anthony waiting to strike here on his teammate, the Sam Akonda in the 007. He's got a lane open downstairs. Does he send it in deep? The answer's no. Sam's going to pinch him down, make him work through the center of the corner. Advantage 007 here, but blackjack on the clock, 21 to go. We're running out of time.
Yeah, the clock definitely ticking down to the golden hour here as Anthony Morano up to second. Here comes Blake Chapman trying to get into that fight, and don't count him out now. Brandon Dittmer up to that 4th spot, and he is creeping up on these guys rather quickly from P4 and car number 83. He's on a tear right now, working his way towards this battle.
Yeah, and he might have the best view in the house here. You get to see some of the top dogs here work this thing around, and I know Brandon, he'd be the first person to admit, not a modified guy at all here, Robbie. He likes running sprint cars. I mean, he'll dabble with some late models, but not his cup of tea. And the fact that he's out here running with these boys, I know he's got a big smile on his face, but there's still plenty of time. And like you said, got to keep your eye here on that 83. Wentz, another one, starting to reel these guys in with caution flag waves. One more time.
Yeah, I believe Boydell going to be involved in this one. Just saw him fall down the leaderboard. But, yeah, unfortunately, maybe not. Is this going to be around Chad Lackey?
It looked like, yeah, Lackey maybe runs Slider up a little high. Dylan, let's see what happens here.
Oh, man.
Maybe tried to bump him and say, hey, man, that wasn't so nice. But then it ended up backfiring on him, Robbie. And he incident pointed out. That's why he disappeared there.
Yeah, another big stack up there towards the rear of the field. Yeah, we do have a couple drivers that have incident pointed out here tonight. That does include Dylan Slider and Shane Billings, both drivers out after exceeding the 20-point incident limit here tonight. Kelly Wheeler, by the way, has just retired from today's event. Unfortunately, he's been caught up in the last couple of incidents with really just nowhere to go.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's been a rough night for him. I mean, good showing there, though, in the B mains. Had a lot of speed, but when you have all those accidents in front of you on a tight racetrack, not too much you can do. And we know the deal, Robbie. It's getting down to that pay window's open, and man, we're only going to get feistier here. So you're not going to get any favors from the drivers around you. You're going to have to go earn this.
Yeah, definitely going to have to earn this. And, you know, you mentioned a couple of these guys up towards the front being teammates. This is a charity race, right? This is not for points. It's for charity, and it's for a trophy up for grabs for these guys as well. So
I would wreck my mom to win this race, Robbie.
These guys are saying the same thing, Shaggy. They're going to go out there. They're going to do what they have to do to get it done. I mean, Morano, I wouldn't count out a bumper coming into play on the back of Bachman here. Move him up the racetrack and make that pass. And I feel like Brandon Dittmer, I don't know him too well, but I feel like he's kind of got that wild child persona.
Yes, he does.
And I could see that coming into play at the end of this one as we come off turn number 4. Barney's got the green flag in hand. We're back underway. 18 laps to go here at Oswego in the big blocks.
Everybody, top 4 right to the bottom. Logan Wentz going to be that first guy who experiments with that top shelf. And I don't know. I applaud guys there, Robbie, for trying it in turn 1, but I just don't think the cars have enough momentum yet. That it's kind of, you know, if you're driving up there lap 1, you're almost working it, playing ahead here for these next couple laps. As you see Logan Wentz close, now he goes to the bottom, making the move.
Yeah, the one thing with those restarts, Shaggy, like you mentioned, going up top, not really beneficial. Seems like they're getting a little bit more bite down there along the bottom. As this racetrack has really taken on a shine to it. A lot of rubber's gone in. They've taken a lot of the moisture out and really kind of solidified the surface a bit. So you're going to get more of that asphalt style of play coming into this one. And these guys absolutely doing whatever they possibly can now, as we're just trading sliders and crossovers all around here between Wentz and Dittmer, holding on to 4th and 5th. And this is allowing guys like Blake Chapman, Anthony Morano, and Sam Bachman to separate just a little bit, about a half second separating 3rd from 4th right now.
How about that 397 involved in an early caution? We saw him skate through the bottom of the last one. Alex Pomerleau, welcome to the top 10, sitting there in 8th. Good run for the 397 as I think the battle. Oh, man, Anthony, he was low through 3 and 4, but had to slot back up in line going down the straightaway. But the pressure's on here, Robbie. This is as tight as we've seen.
Yeah, this is really the closest battle we've had for the lead all night long, aside from the initial lead change. Anthony Morano sticking the nose in there, trying to get to the bottom of Sam Bachman. Bachman just doing a nice enough job to close off that run, not allowing that 32 machine to get the big slip and slide down on the bottom and get by that 007. So, you know, Sam doing everything he needs to do at this point, but Morano going to grow more impatient as we get towards the end of this one. Coming to 12 this time. Bachman, Morano, Chapman, Wentz, and Dittmer continue to be the top 5, and I'm seeing Chad Lackey's name back on that leaderboard. He's in 10th. If we get another caution, you never know what the guy that dominated last night could do here tonight.
No, especially because, you know, I mean, I know those guys, they're teammates, you know, they're going to play nice, but you mentioned, as the laps wind down here, gloves are going to come off. So if he can get himself there sitting 6, 7, maybe get a caution, you never know what that 91 could do. But Blake Chapman, oh, man, you saw the 32 have a little bit of a hiccup there in 1 and 2. But he wasn't close enough to pounce, but, man, he can smell it.
Yeah, he can definitely smell it, and Morano's smelling butter right now. He's got a load of popcorn coming up behind him in that 20 machine. Blake Chapman absolutely on the move. He's going to be one to try to make the move here to the inside of Anthony Morano as we ride on board with him. You can see the popcorn popping on that right rear as he works his way to the inside lane, just about to that inside wall as we just took 10 to go. 90 laps completed here today, coming to 9 now, as Bachman still holds the lead by about 0.3 of a second over Anthony Morano. Morano gonna try the inside lane once again. No bite around as of yet, as they're still single file through the top 3.
Can't believe Sammy, man. He tore up the top. Oh, caution flag waves. Caution flag waves. Mike Brewer involved in the 390. Let's see here. He looks like he's all alone. Let's see what could have happened. Maybe the
he's getting way too hot right there. I think he's gonna clip the wall on exit potentially.
Yeah, that yep. It looked almost identical to what happened. Was that oh, what was the big wreck there for Billings? Billings. Same thing Billings
Yeah, exactly.
did there.
Yeah, a bit of a tank slapper just leads to the wall kicking him around and the caution coming out. Luckily, unlike the last couple of yellows we've had, this one was not a major incident. Just one car involved, and luckily everyone should be able to continue on as we'll restart with about 7 laps to go in this one, possibly 8. As we're getting down to the tail end of this one, Shaggy. The racing has been really good. And you know, guys like Chapman, like Morano, Wentz and Dittmer, they're hungry. They want to get by that 007 of Sam Bachman. And this is the point in time where if you're going to do something, you got to do it.
That's a perfect point. We're going to pull him up. It's charity night, Blake, so get mad at me another night. You're sitting P3, man. We going to go up here and mix it up with the boys. So what's the plan here?
Just hopefully hold on to this thing. The bottom's working well. Hopefully it stays intact and we can, if we can get under Anthony, maybe we can have a shot at winning this thing, but we'll have to see.
Well, hey, man, I like to pull you up late always with the 1 to green, so we'll send you back here. But, Blake, go get this thing, man. Spoil the FTM party.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Oh, yeah. And my long-lost cousin there, Robbie. No relation, but they've got all the talent in the racing side of the Chapman family out there in the Midwest.
Well, it's always good that at least somebody has that bit of talent. You got the talent on the mic. They got the talent behind the wheel. It just works out. As we come back to the green flag. Green flag's in the air. 8 laps to go here in the big blocks at Oswego. Sam Bachman with a phenomenal jump there on that restart. Morano and Blake Chapman going to battle it out for second as Chapman looks to the inside. Not quite able to get there that time as your top 3 stays consistent. Wentz to the top. Dittmer, there we go to the bottom as they battle it out for the 4th position.
Yeah, Dittmer and Logan, man, they have had the funnest battle on track these last. Oh, caution flag.
Oh, man.
Ty Dickinson. Chad Lackey involved too, I think. Oh, yep. There you can see. That just started way early. All right, I got to go back a little further than that here, apparently.
From that angle, it looked like it just snapped on Lackey, but...
Yeah, let's see here. SDK.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely a bit of a mix-up here. Let's go up top. So, you see that 513 get sideways in front of Lackey again. Send it in deep sideways. Lackey's got to get on the binders there. He still touches him a little bit. And then from there, there's nothing. I mean, Chad could have done nothing different there, Robbie. Am I right?
No, absolutely. The only thing Chad could have done is hit the binders a little bit harder, move to the right. But this is such a sliver of a moment of an opportunity these guys have to make those moves. And it's tough, especially these guys have been out here for a couple hours tonight. Some of them including pacing and run well over 200 laps. So you're getting tired. Your brain's not thinking as quickly either. You might have been able to make that avoidance move earlier on, but now that's just out the window.
No, you're definitely right. And I mean, the only thing I got to do tomorrow is take the dog to the vet real early in the morning. He's due for some shots, but man, it is it's getting late. Some of these guys that are working day jobs, real heavy lifting, something like that. I mean, Robbie, coming 11 o'clock on the East Coast. We're at the same time zone. It's a late night for some of these boys, and I can't mention enough. You talked about it. 75 laps in the last one. They've done 95 so far in this one. I mean, that wears on you after that long day.
Well, I don't remember who it was yesterday, but one of them was mentioning that they had to be at work for 4 a.m. this morning. So just think they've been up for 19 hours now. That includes a full day of work now, 4 hours of racing or so here, and any practice they did earlier on. So these guys are tired. It's been a long day. You're at the tail end of this one, 7 to go. The intensity's high, the adrenaline's pumping. As soon as these guys finish, they're probably going to crash out. But here we come back to the green flag this time. Sam Bachman, Anthony Morano, Blake Chapman. Your top 3 as the green flag's back out. We're back underway.
Good jump there for Anthony Morano. Probably the best one of the night here, Robbie. He is looking to the inside, and he is even. What can he do here? Battle on.
Yeah, he's got to go. He's got to do what he's got to do to make that move on Bachman. They're still side by side down the front straightaway. Bachman going to have the advantage with 5 laps to go. 5 fingers in the air that time. The door's also opening a little bit for Chapman and Logan Wentz, who's got himself up into this fight. But once again, Sam Bachman going to clear Anthony Morano. Morano going to have to find the lane with the extra bit of bite to get up there and take a chomp out of Sam Bachman.
Man, oh man, Logan Wentz right there, but the problem is you got 3 guys in front of you taking all the lanes. Where does the 18 go? Apparently the inside wall. A little bit of a hiccup to allow Dimmer to reel him back in. But coming to 3 to go, Robbie, it looks like Anthony Morano maybe a little bit of a hiccup there in 3 and 4. And Sam Bachman extends that lead almost 4/10.
Yeah, 3 laps to go. Sam Bachman, a half-second lead over second place Anthony Morano. Morano going to have to set himself up here where he can make that deep dive with 1 to go, which is coming up here in just a couple of moments as we come off turn number 4. Bachman still leads, popsicle sticks in the air.
2 more trips around here for the 007. Now remember, Anthony was beating him in the small block race. A little bit of contact between Chad allowed the 007 to sneak that P2, but Anthony, he don't want to finish behind him. Caution flag waves, we're going to have a green-white checker.
Oh, my word.
Mike Brewer involved again here in this 39 machine. Let's see if we can see if it was maybe that wall again.
Shaggy, if you are Sam Bachman, you've probably got some choice words at this point. The frustration
that's his
through the
teammate,
roof.
Robbie. That's his teammate who did that too. So Mike Brewer definitely, he is off the Bachman Christmas list. There, that is for sure, because he is he's going to be paid.
Yeah. That's tough, especially considering the restart that Anthony Morano got on the previous green attempt here. This could get really tight. We've only got 2 laps to go, and that 32 of Anthony Morano has found something that's worked well for him, as we're going to get the 1 to green next time by, and this will allow these guys to re-rack, restack, and right now they're making notes. They're making a strategy of how they're going to get by, gain more positions. If you're a guy like Dean Reynolds, you're back in 7th. Is there something he can do to maybe get up in the top 5? That's what he's thinking. Brandon Dittmer right there as well. He's going to try to get by Logan Wentz. And guys like Chapman, he wants back on that podium. Or actually, he wants to take the top spot of the podium. So he's hoping Morano and Bachman come together.
Yeah, and you know, this is going to be interesting. Now, I guess caution laps, Dino was telling us, won't affect the fuel levels. They kind of have that turned off on iRacing, but man, these extra pace laps, this is going to be interesting too. Remember, Robbie, 100 laps as we go back green here. These guys needed to save some fuel, and a green-white checkered, you know what that means, Robbie? We're 101 laps now as we get ready to go back racing.
Yeah, we're actually even more because we haven't counted caution laps, so we're probably more about 130 at this point with the amount of laps we've run under caution, 14 cautions, at least 2 laps per. So it's been pretty extended as we're back under the green flag. Great jump by Bachman as he works his way down the backstretch.
Yeah, a little bit of a hiccup there for Logan Wentz in 4th. That makes a stack up behind as they're almost 3 wide. But we got to watch this battle for the lead here as we roll through 3 and 4. White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go here for the big block modifieds.
This will be the final time around as they work their way off of turn number 2, headed down the backstretch. Morano gonna need to send it deep into 3 if he wants a shot at this one. Not gonna be close enough as we head through 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flag in the big blocks. It's gonna go to Sam Bachman. The 007 takes it over Anthony Morano and Blake Chapman.
Man, Logan Wentz 4th, Dylan Kinsey rounding out the top 5. Great run there from the Spider Monkey. Brandon Dittmer bringing home 6th. Dino 7th. Clay Christopherson 8th. Alex Pomerleau 10th. And Mr. Excitement rounding out, Alex Pomerleau 9th. And, excuse me, Mr. Excitement rounding out the top 10 here. We'll close this. We'll bring up your results here. Maybe.
A great recovery drive, by the way, for both Alex Pomerleau and Matt Barber. You know, Barber's got involved in probably 4 of the last 5 cautions there, and able to work his way back up into the top 10. A couple notables here just outside the top 10 as well, Shaggy. For the Canadian fans, of course, you have the trio of Banks, Plotz, and Boydell there, 13th, 14th, and 15th, but some other really strong contenders here between 10th and 20th as well.
Yeah, let's read it down. Barker 11th, Lawson 12th. You mentioned Banks, Plotz, Boydell, the Canadians, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Ty Dickinson, 16th. Mr. Wednesday Night, 17th. Chad Lackey, 18th. 19th, Ted York and William Watson. Rounds out the top 20. Let's look at that final. Rick Main, pretty Ricky there, 21st. Mike Brewer, rough night for him there to close out, 22nd. Lattisaur, 23rd. Slitter, 24th. Kelly Wheeler, 25th. Shane Billings, 26th. 100 grand, 27th. Justin Sick, 28th. Scotty Rayome, 29th. And Trevor Giroux. Boy, oh boy. I mean, you had the astronaut line tonight, and I had to use it on Trevor. He became one, went to the moon when he was running P2. I know, Robbie. He is kicking himself right now.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys that are definitely kicking each other and kicking themselves out there after that wild race. But Dino's rejoined us. Dean, hell of a drive for you out there, man. What more did you need to do to get up there and maybe have something to say?
For the outside to hang on for 30 more laps. There was that one restart where Blake got me underneath and I made up top, and I think it was going when Trevor got there, and I was making it work. And then when we had that yellow, that outside just went, and I said, you know what, I'm cutting bait. I'm going to go down low and stay slow, and if they have to go around me like Dylan did, Dylan went around me, but that's all I was going to give him because that's all I could make was that work. And my tires were okay. I think I was a little bit better in Dittmer at the end there, but hey, he held his line. But what a great race! Congrats to everybody, and what a good race. And let's bring up the guys.
Yeah, but before we do, Dino, I need some honesty, okay? I want the truth. 175 laps, man. How do we feel? Because I'm tired up here calling it. I know you boys got to be feeling it, right?
Believe it or not, it was easier in the big block. Because the 350, like I mentioned to you, I think yesterday or Monday, the 358s are all out. I mean, I was all out in the 358. I wasn't babying it. I didn't save tires or nothing. And the big block, I babied it to about lap 35. And I looked, I knew I had enough fuel. I was half throttle behind Sam and Trevor. And then when Shane got me on the outside, and then Barber started coming up to me, I said, you know what, it's go time. And I said, I think I know what I can do. I think I can hang on with the tires because I learned from that 100 lapper at FTM. And but I feel really good. The 100 lapper, the big blocks was easier because you were more coasting than you were on the throttle and sling it.
Well, Dino, you talked about it. Let's pull up my long lost cousin here, Blake Chapman. Man, oh man, Blake, don't you ever feed me that BS ever again that you were a sprint car guy, because boy, oh boy, you wheeled this thing tonight, man. Started 15th. You paced yourself, brought that thing up to the podium. What more would it have took for you to get around them FTM boys?
I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know if there's anything in the cards for me tonight to win that thing, but I'm just super happy to come home with third. Really didn't think I'd be talking to you starting 15th, especially how the first two nights went in this thing, but yeah, just really didn't have much of a strategy coming in. Just stay out of trouble early, and after like 2 or 3 laps, I passed some guys that were pretty obviously just saving their stuff, and then Anthony was in front of me, so I'm like, you know what? I found my strategy, and it's just to follow Anthony around for the rest of the race, basically, and I'm gonna let him pace me, and worked out really, really well. So I got to thank Anthony for helping pace me there, and then I also got to thank Brandon. He was behind me pretty much the entire race for racing me clean, and just everybody involved in this race. Wish we could have kept the cautions down by just a little bit more, but definitely could use a break every once in a while during a 100-lap race.
So I know now.
I was trying to follow you for 13 weeks at Houston's and Hometown Heroes, and never worked for me.
Oh man, talk about domination! That was an unbelievable season for Blake. Robbie, you should have been there for that. I mean, that's pretty much the reason he starts in the back now. It was unbelievable what he did there every Wednesday night. But Blake, you kind of talked about it there a little bit. And I mean, Dino had mentioned under caution, we're not going to burn fuel. Okay. iRacing will help us out with that. But that green, white checkered, okay, I don't know how you guys noticed that. We did 101 laps. Were you worried about fuel at all, or did we have plenty?
Not at all. Yeah, after about the first 30 laps, I think I looked, and at the end, I'm sure I would have had enough fuel for another 30 laps because I was running the bottom pretty much the entire race. I floated up to the middle a couple times, but yeah, I had plenty of fuel. That was not a concern at all. Definitely was more concerned about my tires over the race. I know during the 358s, my spotter told me I better take it easy on the tires with about 5 to go. So I figured I better not drive it as hard as I did in that 358 race. But I think the tires held on pretty good, and we were able to move around a little bit, and obviously passed quite a few cars in this one.
Oh, he got the dreaded 50% thing that you were talking about the other night, Dino. What lap did you get that?
I got it. Oh, when did I mic up Blake and say I got it under that? I got it right at that caution. I wound up with 36 at the end, but I think it was lap 75 or 80. I got mine, but then it went down to 36. So it shows you how quick it does go down.
Well, Blake, I mean, absolutely unbelievable. You know, like I say, I don't want to hear it anymore. You're not a sprint car guy. You're a dirt guy. It doesn't matter what we put you in, dude. You're competitive. It can be a late model. It can be a wingless sprint car. It doesn't matter. You can drive anything on dirt. You showed us that again tonight. Hell of a race, kid. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the parents for watching. Got to thank all the guys down at KSR. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies and Steve at Steve's Custom Golf Clubs, and of course Mauer Farm Management. Got to thank first, yeah, I really got to thank everyone involved in this entire event. There's a ton of people involved. Obviously, all the sponsors for helping put the broadcast on, and then there's a lot of people who have done a lot of work that haven't been seen on the broadcast. I know Dean did really good job of advertising this and running the show, and Jeff Barker, I think, admined about every session, and that's a lot of work, so really appreciate that, Jeff. I know Bob's been doing some work behind the scenes too, and obviously Bill Calder does a lot with the league in general, so I got to thank all those guys, and if I'm missing anybody, I do apologize. But yeah, of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. Definitely going to need some after this race. You can head over to their website, and don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 15% off. And of course, I got to thank you guys for putting this broadcast on. You always do a great job, but you've done a really, really terrific job during this charity event.
Shame on you, dude. You missed one. Steve's Custom Golf Clubs.
Oh, did I not mention him?
No, come on, Blake. I mean, we
No,
got to
you
get
know
that man business.
You
know
know,
what?
it's nice used to podiums and modifieds. He's got an excuse.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, he got plenty of airtime. He ran this charity event. He ran qualifying the heats of B-mains. He got plenty of airtime. I don't think he's worried about that.
Well, hey, Blake, you know you're one of my favorites, kid. It's phenomenal what you do. Great showing tonight, and can't wait to talk to you again, brother.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Congrats, Blake.
Man, what a run by that kid. But Robbie, this is a man who I know wanted it bad. But coming home P2, who you got?
Man, Anthony Morano coming home just a little bit short in this one. You got third in the 358, second in the big block. You got to be a little bit disappointed, but overall, how you feeling after a solid night here tonight?
That's just it. It was a solid night. Got a lot of FGM cars up front there. You got 4 out of the top 5. Sam and I both got on the podium both races, so good night for the team. That's the more important part than just how I did. So we'll take that. It was a pretty good night. I had to be real patient there. I had to come a little deeper than I wanted to, certain 12th, but yeah, I know I was holding Blake up a little bit there towards the end. I wasn't coming off the bottom for literally anything. There was just no way. That's why when I was coming through and I know I needed to get ahead of Blake to keep him behind me because him and I both run the bottom really, really well. So I know I needed to get down there, and otherwise that was going to be something he would be able to just drive away from me from at the end, I think. So probably he's a little bit better at conserving, I think, running all those sprint car races. So that was the main thing. So that's what I was trying to do there. And Sam ran a hell of a race there. I got underneath him a few times, and he did his job. And we kept it clean and came home top 2 steps on the podium.
Shaggy and I were talking about this a little bit before the final restart. Had you been close enough to the rear end of the Sam Bachman machine, were you prepared to use the bumper and move him out of the way?
Nah, I wouldn't move Sam. No way.
It's charity week, dang it. Come on, Anthony.
Sam,
I'm not gonna move Sam. I'm not gonna. I try not to move anybody if I don't have to. So, he did pretty damn good job. The big block race here on New Year's Eve, we finished 1-2 just the other way around. So he did what he had to do. He did a good job, ran a hell of a race. Dino, you were scaring me there running the top, buddy. I didn't think you were gonna make it. I saw you get the wall when I went around you. I was like, oh, stay on the track this time, buddy. Come on, you got this.
Yeah, I know. The last time I was here, I was leading, and I net cut it. It was.
I remember. I think it was Renegades. You were leading here, and you ate the fence
Yep.
went out of the park.
No, I needed a 75 lap race, so, but it was a lot of fun.
That it was a lot of fun that race.
What'd you have for right rear?
36.
I had 36. Okay. So all that running in the top, and I had the same tire you did, so I don't feel okay.
Yeah, look
I
at
learned
Brandon
something.
Dittmer with that
pretty wild,
31%.
boy.
He had to be feeling it. looking at those guys writing in the chat.
Yeah,
So,
he was in our Discord there. He was definitely
It
feeling that right
was
rear sliding around.
that last right rear, that last restart. Oh my God, he was all over.
yeah,
So
that's a
he was,
good question. Robbie actually brought that up. So, Anthony, now you'd have a different answer probably, but were you guys yelling at Brewer bringing out that caution there with the green white checkered where any mad
Actually,
teammates?
in all honesty, Sam goes, these guys towards the back end. Mike's like, it was me. And Sam happened to say it was 20. It was like the guys in 20th or something like that, just a random number. I think Brewer's running 19th. And Sam's like, ooh.
Oh,
Oh
that's the
man,
best.
that's always the worst.
Sam's actually feeling kind of bad about it. So, it's just one of those things, I guess. I think actually I had a chance at Sam there if that last restart didn't happen. I had a pretty good line going, and I actually timed that restart there real good, and then that caution came out. So that was gonna be my only shot, and Sam did a real good job on that last restart, and I had nothing for him. So like I said, hats off to him, man. He ran a great race. Sam's gotten much faster. He's getting a lot more wins, and he picked up the championship last season. So Sam's definitely picked up his game and doing a hell of a job.
Well, Anthony, you mentioned the teammates. Why don't you give them a shout out now and shout out those sponsors as well that put that beautiful 32 out there on the racetrack?
Gotta thank my wife Sherry first. She's out celebrating her birthday with her friends tonight. So, big thanks to her for letting me do this all the
So
time.
you might
when I'm
not be
at
done
work.
driving yet. You might have to go be the wheelman yet tonight.
Oh no, she's already at the Airbnb, and if she gets obliviated and can't drive, that's good because she shouldn't be driving anyway. I just have to deal with the puppy for the night, so it's all right. But I thank all the boys at FTM. There's a bunch of us. Sucks for Trevor there, man. I really thought he was doing so good, and then I think he just went out of the park there right in front of Dino.
oh,
Probably
he threw a slider. When I saw it, I go, that is not going to end well.
probably made you probably give you another stain in your shorts there after the first time there with
Well, at
whatever
least he
happened there
disappeared
earlier.
pretty quick. At least he was an astronaut there.
I was ready to duck underneath because I knew the speed that he was going, he was definitely going to get the wall, and I figured just right rear, left, right front, and then get stuck in it. So I was already turning left to go underneath, and then he did. He disappeared instantly. So it sucked.
That is one good thing about it. The other part is you go out of the park and you're kind of screwed. But everybody there at FTM, Dean, you over there, Super Dare Car, Swan Speed Chef, High Mom Lens, DJ Simshop, Vertex Graphics for the awesome rap, Expert Installation, ShaggyTV, Rocky Photography, you know, Robert, you, Shaggy. I don't see Marty here. I guess Marty left, but everyone, you guys all doing a broadcast, and a big shout out to Dean and Jeff and Bill and Bob DeGood. I forgot to mention him in my earlier interview. Everyone that's been doing everything here for this event. I know this is a lot of working parts that have to get paid attention to. So it's a lot going on. Big hats off to you guys for all taking care of that for us, and everyone else at Coast to Coast doing the admin stuff and everything. It's a lot of fun, great event. So hopefully get back to this and do something like this again.
Well, Anthony, congratulations on a really solid run here tonight, and we look forward to seeing you back for next year's iteration of this event.
I hope so, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Great run, brother. Good night, man.
Thanks, Dean. You too.
Anthony Morano, what a run out of him. And, well, get ready. Adjust those knobs. You're about to hear the whip crack.
There it is.
Yep, there it is. Sammy Bachman, man. How we feeling, brother? When you go back and watch this thing, you'll be cursing me under your breath because, dude, I thought you were burning it down on the outside too early, but you knew exactly what you were doing. Got out front, wanted to set the pace, man, and you never looked back, dude. How we feeling?
Feeling pretty good. It's nice to stay up front and stay in that nice clean air and not have any troubles. But I just kind of ran that slider line to the middle like we did in the 358s the whole time, and it just seemed pretty kind of consistent and saved a lot on the tires. Kind of felt like.
Now, Anthony kind of ratted you out, so you can lie to us if you want to, make yourself sound better. But what's going through your head, man? You're coming out of turn 4. You can see the white flag, and all of a sudden, it turns yellow, man. You got 2 more to go. What's going through your head?
I didn't want that caution. But I heard what Anthony told you, and yeah, I just want to apologize to Mikey. I didn't mean to
We've all been there,
whatever,
brother. We
but
have all been there.
I definitely did not want to see it, but it kind of helped me out a little bit too because it kind of timed my start a little better.
That's actually what I was gonna say. You know, in the moment, Sam, it might have bothered you, but when you're watching it, Anthony was coming at you with a pretty big run, and it seemed like that final restart. Maybe you went, you know, a little earlier or a little later than normal, but dude, you timed that, and it seemed like from the drop of that green flag with 2 to go, Anthony was never really able to put any pressure on you.
Yeah, I was definitely moving around my start zone or whatever by a car length or whatever, trying to play with Anthony a little bit, try to keep a good start, and then that second to final caution when he got that beautiful start, I thought I was cooked, and then that caution came out and saved me.
Sam, on the last couple restarts, you actually started way up against the wall. Were you getting that right rear and that fluff a little bit to get that launch? Is that what you were trying to do?
Oh yeah, I was trying to get that launch and then trying to hit the tack as much as I could because it seemed like right when you got to the slick down the straightaways, she was ready to slide.
Now, Sam, you know, like I say, I mentioned you got out front, you set the pace early. At what point did you know that you were going to be good on gas? Were you pretty good the whole time just because of the way the track was burned off, or did you need to save for a little bit?
Oh, I was planning on really saving and just running the middle the whole time, and then it just ended up being really good, and I ended up saving enough fuel running the middle, and yeah.
Well, Sammy, you know, I don't know what it looks like yet, but those trophies that Andy does over there at A&J Custom Creations, they are amazing. And dude, you're gonna have one coming in the mail here with your name on it. Now, nothing against the small block modifieds, but we all know the 100 lapper, man. This was the crystal ball tonight. This is the one everybody wanted, and Sam, you brought it home, man. Congratulations. Dominated this thing, got out front early, and just set the pace, brother. Who you want to thank?
All the boys over at FTM, Gunner at Swan Speed Shop for working hard on the dig. Dean over at Super Dare Car Series, X for Installation, Shaggy, you, Marty, Rob, Robert, Dean for all doing the broadcast for us, and Coast to Coast for putting this on.
I
And
got
Dean.
one. Yep, Sam, I got one question. Yeah, you've been on the sim for a little while now. Is this your biggest win?
Oh yeah, this is probably my biggest win with most people in a race. I mean, 50 some odd people and signed up for this race. So yeah, it's probably my biggest win, I'd say.
That's cool.
Yeah, this would be the biggest win for I'd say almost anybody in the field. This was quite the crown jewel that Dino and the Coast to Coast boys put together. This was phenomenal, and for you to bring it home, Sam, that's awesome, brother. Congratulations. Couldn't have went to a nicer guy here. P1 and a P2, man. Can't wait to talk to you again. You're awesome.
Thank you, Zach.
Good run, Sam.
Thank you.
Well, now, Dino, what do we do, man? Do we talk about how much of a freaking success this was? Because you need to, you mentioned them a little bit, but there are some guys behind the scenes who definitely deserve some credit here for tonight, and well, for the whole week.
Yeah, I love the event. This is my deal because I get to be a big part of it in real life, and and I told Jeff right off the bat. I said, Jeff, if you could do the grunt work and help out, I'll do everything else. I'll do everything else right up to race day, and then I just want to be a racer. So I got to thank him because he did all the stuff that's not fun. Absolutely not fun. Making sure the grid's right, making sure the servers are right. And when you do pre-grid, you got to do different servers every race. And he wasn't sleeping well on Monday, the night before, because he wants to make sure that he didn't forget anybody and stuff like that. So first, I got to thank him. I mean, he's the main guy, and I got a little guest coming up here. There we go. There we go. Hi, buddy. Wave. But I got to thank him. But then there's a lot of other guys. Bill Calder, who's doing all the admin work behind with the entries and making sure the invites got sent out and got accepted and stuff like that. So he was doing a lot of work there. Jack Hitt was monitoring all the money side. and everything there. He's just making sure everyone was signed up and all the money's going to the charity and the sponsors and everything else. So he did a lot of work. And then Bob DeGood helped out Jeff with the lineups. Bob DeGood would actually get the lineup set for Jeff, and then I would double check them and things, and then Jeff would go in and do the pre-gridding. So, got to thank them. And then we also got to thank the major sponsors. Ricky Main with Hinkle Homes, Flieger with Flieger Farm TV. Got to thank him. Who am I? Oh, Ross Carenta. Velocity Race Designs. We got to thank him. They were the major sponsors. And then I got to do, the Hard Charger and Halfway Awards. I'll get those done. And we got to thank Chase Design and Just Racing Boys Design for, the halfway marks. And then, he was Hard Charger. And then we got to thank Teddy York at NARC Racing League. And he did the halfway. So we got to thank them as well. But I'm going to put up the, the address for people to donate. We don't need to stop now. If people still want to donate to the Honor House, please do so. We're going to have that link up for a little bit, and so people can donate, and we'll see what the final tally is here in a couple days, and that's the main thing. We put on great events and some of the best drivers. I just showcased the talents today, but it's all about the Honor House and Scotty Riom and the FTM team for they bid at $150 total, so that goes to the total as well. So a lot of people to thank, and then the biggest ones is you, Shaggy, and Robert, and Marty. You guys put together, took a lot of time out of your personal time to do this, and this I think had the best broadcast of all the Super Dirt weeks. So I got to thank you guys.
Well, that leads me in to talking about Robbie. Robbie, I don't mind throwing myself under the bus. I didn't know I was going to run this tonight, so I had a lot of technical issues with my mic, little stuff behind the scenes. And Robbie, the professionalism you bring, man, I'll tell you what, I'd work with you anytime, and you can have 3/4 of the pay, brother. You were phenomenal, did an awesome job, and man, I really hope in the future I get to call some races with you again, Robbie, because this was fun, dude.
Man, this has been such a fun week. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's been an honor to work with you and Dino and Marty again, and get out here and just call racing. People say, yeah, this is your job. You do announcing. No, I get paid to watch racing and talk about it. That's one of the coolest things ever, and I love it. This was so fun all week long, seeing guys work their way up through the field. We had guys start almost 30th tonight and finish in the top 5. How cool is that? And to see, guys like Harold Klump working his way into the 358 feature earlier, we were cheering for him up here. The underdog stories, the dark horses, the people that put this together, and how great the show was. This was so fun. I can't wait to do it again, and I can't wait to call more racing with you boys.
Yeah, this was an absolute blast. Chad Lackey bringing home the 358 modifieds, and Sam Bachman bringing home the big block modifieds. This was an amazing event here. Dino and the boys put together. Super Dirt Modified Week here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. My name's Zach Chapman. I had a lot of fun on the call here with Robbie, Dino, my man Marty Sakala. I want to thank all of you guys for donating. And just, really donating your time as well to watch this. And it's a good cause. Go up there. Go to C2CRL.com. The Honor House link will be on their website there on the Super Dirt Week portion. Make sure you go out there. Even if it's $1, $5, we don't care. Donate. It's going to a great cause. But on behalf of everyone here at the Coast to Coast Racing Network, like I said, I'm Zach Chapman, and Robbie, boy, oh boy, you're the real deal, man. You're going places. It was so much fun to work with you. And I hope everybody enjoyed the show. So have a good evening.
Take care, everybody.